We're going to start our thread back from the eye of the hook, about 1/8 of an inch. Notice that I cut all my materials by holding my thread straight on top. By doing it this way, I'll never cut my thread down on the bottom. Our body, for this fly, I'm going to use a fluorescent orange floss. And I'm going to attach it right there where I've started my thread. How I attach it is I hold it down at a 45-degree angle and very loosely take my first wrap. Then I'll pull towards me and tighten up. And then I'll take 4 more wraps all in the same spot. And my material's attached. This is a very simple fly to tie, but there's an important technique here I want to show and share with you to get this floss on the hook correctly. You can see this is a 4-strand floss, and as I wrap this, it's going to spread out the whole length of the shank of the hook. But I can keep it together and very organized by doing something called walking the bobbin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wraps to the right hand side of my thread. The pressure of my thread is keeping that floss all together and organized. Again, if I didn't do that, it would spread from one end of the shank of the hook to the other. Now I'm going to get down here all the way to the bend of the hook. And again, how I can tell I'm at the bend is my thread is at the barb of the hook. I'm at the bend. I want to make sure I cover this whole body with floss. Now I need to walk my bobbin back to the eye of the hook. So I'm going to take my wraps of my floss on the left hand side of my thread. By doing that again, it's going to keep that floss all nice and neat and organized. And I can wrap a nice, smooth, clean body all the way back. I'm going to hold the material straight up in the air with my right hand, take my bobbin and drop it over the top, over the back. I'll switch hands. I'll take my bobbin, put some tension on the thread towards me, pull towards me. Now I can release that floss. It's not going to go anyplace. I'll take 5 more turns, all in the same spot. My material is attached. I can now cut the end off nice and close. For my feather, my wing, I'm going to use a Hungarian partridge feather. Hungarian partridge is a small bird, but it has thousands of feathers on it. They make great flies because of the variations in the brown and black and white on it. It just makes a buggy looking fly. To prepare this feather, I'm going to hold it by the tip, and all this fluff, I'm going to just strip right off it. So I now have a nice clean feather. It looks like that. I'm going to attach this to the hook soft hackle style. Whenever you hear that or read that in a recipe, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare the feather in just this manner. I'm going to hold some of the tip barbs of it and pull all the other barbs to the back. So now I have something looks like that. I'm going to pull them back one more time and hold them. Now I'm not going to remove my fingers or take a look at this until I get it attached to the hook. I'm going to cut, leaving just enough of the end of that to tie on. I'll take that up where my thread is now and hold it against the side of the shank of the hook. Like we attached our floss, I'm going to take one loose turn over the top, and then 4 or 5 tighter turns to attach it in good shape. On this fly, I'm going to bring my thread all the way up to the eye of the hook. This is something we don't usually do. We want to usually stay away from that eye. But I'm going to want to wrap over these barbs to make them lay back in the proper fashion. I'm going to take my hackle pliers now, attach to the butt end of that feather. And I'm going to start wrapping. Keep that fluffed up. And I'm going to get 2 or 3 turns out of this. I'm going to hold the stem of that feather straight up with my thread. I'm going to take 1 turn over the top of it. Now I can take my hackle pliers right off. By keeping tension on that thread, now take 5 turns all in the same spot again. My feather's attached. Another important piece of information on fly tying. Now I need to cut that stem out of there. If I was just going with my scissors and start hacking away, sure enough I'd cut some of these fibers too that I want there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that stem and pull up. I'm going to open my scissors, and I'm not going to cut. I'm just going to push with my scissors. The only thing that's going to break is what I'm holding on to. All the rest of those fibers will stay nice and clean. Now I'm going to take all those fibers and pull them back, all those hackle fibers. I'm going to wrap my thread over them. I'm going to start building up my head. I want a nice, neat, small little head right up front here, just big enough to hold those hackle feathers back. Nice and clean. And that's a partridge. That's all there is to tying that fly. Now I'm going to tie it off with my half-hitch tool. Take my thread, lay the half-hitch tool on the thread, go 1 turn around the end of the tool. Take the tool up to the eye of the hook and gently slide that thread off. That's a single half-hitch. Now I'm going to do it twice. Gently slide that off. I'm going to pull up on the thread, and that's what will lock it all together. Now instead of cutting this thread, I'm going to use the same manner as I did that stem. I'm going to open my scissors up, lay it on the head of the fly, and just push. Cut my thread. I won't cut anything else. Now we're going to apply some head cement on that. Our partridge is finished.